Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we will discuss how we can automate solution deployment in Power Platform from one environment to another environment using DevOps continuous integration and continuous deployment process, right? So we just want to automate the deployment. That's it, right? Normally, developers can export the solution, import in target environment, right? And deposit check in the code in the repository by unpacking and packing things, right? So how to automate that process in DevOps and DevOps CI CD using Power Platform solution, we'll see. This is the most important topic in every project we are using. So we'll complete in three steps. One is some configuration required for Azure portal, some configuration required in Power Platform Admin Center, and rest of the configuration we will do in Azure DevOps. So in Azure portal, first we need to create an Azure app, and once you create the Azure app, you have to provide all necessary uh, permissions, API permissions, and you have to note the client ID, tenant ID, and secrets. So let us complete that. So let me go to the Azure portal. You need to create an Azure app. How to create an Azure app? You have to go to Azure directory and create a application using app registration area. Click on app registration, and in the app registration, click on new registration. I want to create a new app. Let's say I want to give a name. Let's say CI CD Automate. Okay. Now here I want to give the access and click on OK. Once you click on OK, you will find there is a application ID. Just copy this application ID and note it. App ID. This is important, right? And you have to record the tenant ID also. So here you note down the tenant ID. These are required. Then once it is done, you have to go to the API permission and add necessary permissions. So click on add permission. First you need to add the Azure DevOps permission and use the impersonation and click on delegated permission and click on add permission. This is the first Azure DevOps access. Then you need to add the another permission that is called as dynamic CRM. You can also give delegated permission here. Next, there is a runtime, Power Platform runtime. You just scroll down to see that. Yeah, this one, Power Apps runtime services. So you can click this and user impersonation common data service, add permission, right? So all the permission we have added. Now you go to client secret, and in the client secret you have to add a new client secret. Give a name here. Let's say CI CD secret, and here you provide the expiry date. It is for 6 months, and you copy this secret and store it here. Okay, now done. So app registration is done. We have noted all the client ID, client secrets, and tenant ID. And next is you have to record the source environment URL and target environment URL. But let us focus this step by step, right? So we have done all of this, right? First step is done in Azure portal. So you can close this Azure portal, but provided before closing you have to record all this information because these are required. Next step is in Power Platform Admin Center, we need to do something. In source environment, we have to create a solution and add some components. Okay, so let us go to the source environment. I have multiple environments here. I want to use future focus default environment as a source environment and future dev as a target environment. So I will go to the default environment and create a new solution. This is how we developers create solutions. Click on new solution and give a name here. Let's say first demo, DevOps, then CI CD. Okay, and choose a publisher, default publisher you can take, and click on create. Okay, now once you create the solution, you can add components. Okay, let me add a new component called as table. I can add any component of my choice, right? Let's say I want to create a new table. Let's say the new table is client feedback. Okay, so this is just a table I have created in my solution, and I want to create an app for this. So in here I want to add a column, just some random information. So here I want to create a column called as customer email. Data type I want to use email. Save it. Email, and I want to add a description or comment with multi-line text. So I have created my entity and created some columns, and I want to use this table in my app, new app. I want to create a new app called as Canvas app. I'll give a name here. Let's say client feedback app, and I can use phone type or tablet, whatever you want to use. So I have two components. One is table component and another is Canvas app component. Right. So here I want to display just a gallery to connect. So this is a vertical gallery, and I want to connect to the table called as client feedback. Which will display the email ID, and click on edit field, which will display the email and comment. So there is no data right now. So that's why it is blank. But here I want to display I want to add another control here, form control to display. So this is the form which will act as a new feedback creation form. Right. So here I want to connect to the same data source client feedback, and I want to edit the fields to display. Which fields I want to display? I want to display the name of the feedback record, then email of the customer, and then comment. Right. Now all the fields are added, and I want to use a column, one column. Okay. And here I can take a button to submit, just a sample app. Okay, now I can test this. If you want to also upload images, also you can upload image. Let's say I want to upload an image quickly. Click on edit field and add image. I think the image field is not there. We have not added an image field. That's fine. So just continue this, and in the gallery we just change the layout as title and subtitle. We do not need any image. Now in the submit button you write down some power effects, submit form and form 1, and in the on form success write down the message notify feedback recorded. Okay, so this is just a sample notification. Now let us check this how it works. Now before that you change the forms display mode as uh, new, so that it will create a new form. So let us add say Sanjay feedback on laptop. email spp@gmail.com. It's a nice product. Click on submit. Once you submit, it will add the item to the gallery, right? So it will keep adding the items, but when you submit, the form mode changes. So on submit, what you can do, you can change the form mode as new form, so that it will remain as new mode, right? Now again, you have to change the mode as new. Go on feedback. Go on @gmail.com. Nice one, and submit. Now as soon as you keep adding the records using the form, it will keep adding or displaying the records in the gallery. Okay, that's what we designed. It's a simple app. Okay, now our app is done. Now in our solution, you need to save and publish. Just click on publish, so that it will publish the latest version of the app, and our solution is done. So we have a table and we have an app which will be connected to the table to create records and display data in list item. Now let us deploy this solution to a target environment. So first step is done in the second configuration. Source environment, we have created the solution and added components. Next is create app user and SN security. So in Power Platform Admin Center, you have to create um app user with a proper security role, right? So let us do that. So let me go back. So this is our solution, and but you have to add a app user. So go to admin center, or you can directly navigate to the Power Platform Admin Center using this Power Platform Admin Center link directly. Then here you have to go to environments. In the environments, you have to select the source environment first. This is my source environment, future focus default, and here you have to click on users, all users. So it's trying to load the environment data. Sometimes if it is taking time, you can just reload this, or you can directly click the more button to navigate to the corresponding settings. So click on settings, and here you can click on the users. So if you click on users, click on application users, and here you need to add a new app user. Click on new app user and click on add an app and search your app. This is the app we have created in the Azure portal, right? CI/CD Automate Deployment App. Click on add. Here you need to select a business unit and assign a security role for your business unit. Let's say I want to assign system administrator. Now let's give a higher privilege, because this user will be used for deployment purposes. So one app user is created in source environment. Next, create a app user in target environment, right? So go to the target environment, click on it. This is source environment I have done. So this is my target environment, future dev, and here you need to, so do not need to click that, you just click the settings directly. Future dev and settings. Then you can search users here, application users, and add new user. Select an app, select the same portal user app, and here give a business unit list. This is my root business unit of the target environment, and secret role I want to give system admin. So this app user has now access to both environment for deployment purposes. Now our step is done. So we have created a solution, created app user with security, and in target environment also we have done this same thing. Now we'll navigate to the Azure DevOps to start with DevOps project configuration, right? So go to the Azure DevOps. You can close this, but before that you need to record the source environment URL and target environment URL. Okay, so let me click on environments. So this is the source environment. You can click on details view. Now you can copy this. This is my source environment. So copy this, copy link address and store here. Source. This is the URL. Like that, you have to go to target environment and click on details view to copy the URL. These informations are required for deployment. Okay. Now it is done. Power Platform configurations are done. Now let's go to Azure DevOps. Now what I'll do, I'll go to dev.azure.com, which is nothing but the DevOps. Here you can log in using your credential, and you need to create a project first. So let us create a new project, and to give a project name, let's say automate CI CD Power App solution. So this is my project name, and I want to give some description here and make it private, and click on create. You can use the GIT repository, GIT or version control, GIT or team powered instance server, or work type. You can check one of the model. Let's use basic model. Click on create. So I have created a new private project in my DevOps. Once the private project is created, you need to create service connections, okay, inside your project. So this is our project. In this project, you have to go to project setting and create service connections. So click on the service connection and create two service connections pointing to the source and target. Click on new service connection and search here platform. Now when you search Power Platform, it will display a Power Platform option here in the service connection option. But this will not display until unless you install Power Platform build tools. So how to install this? Go to here, Power Platform build tools. So this is a Microsoft product, Microsoft Power Platform build tools, which will help you for Azure DevOps. So here you can go to the marketplace. Okay, you can click on this Azure marketplace, and you have to get it free. Once you click on get it free, it will try to install in your Azure DevOps organization. And if you have already installed, it will ask you that it is already installed. Otherwise, it will install in your organization. Now you see it is loading the organizations that you have already created. I have created one organization, so it is created this, and this extension is already installed, so I do not need to install again. But if you have not installed, it will display option to install it. Once it is installed, you can again go back to your DevOps project, and if you search here, you will find Power Platform option here. So choose this in the service connection and click next. Here you use application ID and client secret. Define the server connection, server URL. First use the source server URL and give a name here. Let's say source, give the URL first, and you have to provide the tenant ID. Tenant ID is already captured here, and put it here. Then, this is application ID. Tenant ID you have to copy. Application ID is this one. So you have to properly configure the IDs. Tenant ID means application. Application ID means client ID. Then client secret. Client secret already copied here. Okay. Now you can give a name. Let's say source connection. Okay, and click on this grant access permission to all pipeline. Next, you have to create a new service connection for target connection. Search again Power Platform and click on next and give the target service URL or environment URL and same tenant ID, then application ID, okay, then the client secret. Same setup secrets, tenant ID and app ID will be used because same app is having both access. Now here I can use target connection and give the grant access permission to all pipelines. Now connection is done. What is the next step? Just follow step by step, it will help you. Now initialize the repository. So we have to store our project details or solution details in a repository. So go to the repository in here, click on files and initialize the repository here for GIT storage. So it will create a main branch and store your project. So click on initialize. Okay, now the project is initialized. So once it is initialized, you have to give the permission for repository as a contribute access. So go to your uh, repository in the project setting. In the repository, you will find a security tab. In the security tab, you will find, if you scroll down, you will find the user. This is the current user which is used for automation. Now click on this and here in the contribute access, click on allow. Okay, this security is required. Okay, now once the security has been given as allow permission, you have to add platform build tools. Power platform build tools should be actually used before the service connection. So you can take this step before the uh, service connection, right? Otherwise you cannot find that Power Platform option. Now once the project setting is security is done, you have to install self-hosted for parallel pipeline. Normally when you run a pipeline, Microsoft host is automatically used, but for Microsoft host, you have to apply for that. Okay, Microsoft has to allow so that you can use the pipeline. But for this case, I don't want to use Microsoft host. I have installed my own self-host agent for my parallel pipeline. So I have already created a video here in my channel. First, do this self-hosted agent pipeline installation. It is very easy to install. It will take just 5 minutes. Once it is done, you can again come back here and this step is done. Okay. Next, add app to source control. Let us create the pipeline first. Okay, so that we can use the deployment steps. I'll go to the settings, and in the settings we'll go to the pipeline. So let us start with a pipeline creation. Click on new pipeline, and the new pipeline choose use classic editor. Here I can choose Azure repository GIT because our project is in GIT. And in the team project, select the project that you have created. This is the project we are going to automate. Repository is selected already, and default branch is main branch. If you want to create multiple branches also, you can create first, then select it and click on continue. Once you continue, you can find an empty job here. Click on empty job, and in here in this empty job you can start using the task. You can define a name here. Let's say our apps agent. Okay, just a name here I am giving. Now once it is done, what you need to do, you need to add task. So as per the pipeline steps, we need to keep adding steps like a Power Platform tool installer and all the options like export, import, all solutions we have to follow. So first, whenever you create a pipeline, just create a variable to store our solution name. Go to variable and create a variable to keep our solution name. Okay, the solution name I want to keep the value is the solution name we have created. Which solution we have created? This one, this is the solution name, right? So you can click this and copy the solution name from overview. Now this is the solution name. You copy this, copy the name option, not display name. Okay, and here I can put this. So this is my solution name. So whenever I will use the solution name, I can take help of this variable so that the value will be picked up. I can go to the task and keep adding task. The first task I want to add is, click on add and search here Power Platform build tool installer. So when you install Power Platform build tools, it will display all this list you can use in your project. So first is a Power Platform tool installer. Click on add. This job will install the Power Platform build tools necessary for your agent. Next, click on add. I want to add another task. Once the task is installed, tool is installed, I want to add, you can scroll down, export solution. I want to export the current environment solution first. Okay, so export this, use export, just search export. You can see here export solution, Power Platform export solution. Click on add. So in Power Platform export solution, you need to define some information here. Do you want to use username password or service principal? Use service principal. In the service connection, choose the source service connection you have created, source connection. Okay, because source connection will be used for exporting solution. And environment URL is buildtools.environment URL. This is the default environment URL that is already used for default environments, a default variable. So you do not need to change this. And solution name, you can consider the solution name using the variable we have declared. This is the variable name we have declared, right? Solution name. So you have to call the variable name using dollar symbol, dollar in bracket the variable name. What is the solution output file? You can use the solution output file uh, using the default directory of the build, this one. Okay, let me copy this. So what I have used here, I am using build.staging directory. This is an inbuilt default directory created by the DevOps for your project, and that directory slash solution name underscore unmanaged.zip. So this will be the uh, solution name or solution that will be created in the output file. So this will be my exported file. Okay, if you want to export as a managed, you just click this export managed, but I want to export as unmanaged solution. Okay, you can give the target version also if you want to give, otherwise keep blank. Okay, now once the export solution is done, what I want to do, the next step is you want to unpack the solution, because first thing is we have to unpack, export the solution and unpack the solution so that all the components of the solution will be extracted for our source control. So add another step here, unpack. So click on unpack, Power Platform unpack solution, click on add. Now in the unpack solution step also you need to define the solution input file. What is the solution input file? The solution input file will be the same file that we have used. So you can use this one, same build.staging directory solution name dot underscore unmanaged.zip. This is the solution output file from the previous export step. What is the target folder to unpack? Use a target folder. Let's say I want to create a target folder in the build.source directory. This build.source directory is an existing directory created by Microsoft by default for your project. So inside this directory, I want to create a solution name folder, and inside that I want to create a folder called as unmanaged, which will store the unpacked version of your solution. What is the type of solution? The type of solution I want to use unmanaged. You can use both, you can use managed, whatever your necessary requirement. Okay. And if you want to use all components separately, you can use all components separately. Okay. And the unpack is done. Once it is unpacked, I want to publish the repository, right? So publish artifact is another step that you need to add. So artifact. So you can click on this publish artifact pipeline. No, there is another step. Let me just remove this. You just search publish artifact, publish build artifact, right? So click on this, and in the publish artifact drop, you have to use the path to publish where I want to which path I want to publish. Here you have to choose the path. The path is build source directory solution name unmanaged, right? So build source, this is not the actual path. So you just click on this, and here you can search. Okay. It's not created. Click on this directory first, and you can directly copy the solution. You can directly copy the value, so no need to choose from the option here. So this is the folder that it needs to be published in the artifact. Now it is done. So we have published the artifact, and what is the next step? Once the published artifact is artifact means the components of the solution which are unpacked. Once it is published, you can define some command line to define some commit to the git, right? So add a command line, uh, step or task. And in the command line task, you need to put some script. So in the command line script, you have to put this script, echo commit all changes, then git config user email, git config user name, then git checkout main branch, git add all components, git commit some text message here, then git c http extra header authorization bearer, system access token variable, and push origin main. This script will run by git command executor. But to run this, you have to go to the agent and enable a flag called as allow scripts to access the auth token. You have to enable this, otherwise your command line will not execute. Now once it is done, all the step done, you can click on save and run, right? What you want to do, let's say you want to change the name, let's say agent DevOps, I want to give a name, and save and queue. So let us see how it is executing all the tasks. So give a comment, first code commit, and choose a Azure pipeline or default pipeline custom self-hosted. Click on save and run. Once you click on save and run, the Power Apps agent DevOps will run and start executing one by one task that we have assigned for the pipeline. It will try to install the tool, Power Platform tool, then Power Platform export solution step. It will execute accordingly. It will take some couple of seconds and execute all the steps or tasks that we have done. So this is one part of continuous integration we have done, right? Now next is continuous deployment, which requires to create releases from this build. So let us wait. Once it is completed successfully, we will verify if everything runs successfully or not. Now artifact is also done, command line script is done, then post job completion step is done. Now the agent completed all its tasks successfully. If you go to the repository, you will see the project information created here. This is our first demo DevOps CI CD solution. Inside solution, a folder called as unmanaged, and in the unmanaged, the unpacked version of the solution, the canvas app, the entities, right? This is the unpacked solution components that are available. That you need. This is already checked in our Git repository, right? So we have done successfully, but we have not imported it. We have just exported and created the artifact and published the artifact in our repository. The next important thing is we will create the release out of this. So to create the release out of this, we have to go to the repository, and sorry, you have to go to the pipeline. So this is the pipeline, okay, and you have to go to releases and create a new pipeline. The next stage is to create a release from the build. Now here you will see it is telling that here you will find the artifact and the stage. So we have to connect the artifact first. Click on the artifact. The artifact is available in our Azure repository. Choose the project. The project is this one, Automate CI CD Power App Solution, and the source is available here. So this is the source which contains the solution repository. You can choose the default branch. Default branch is main branch, and the default version is latest from the default branch. It will automatically pick up, okay, and click on add. Once you click on add, the artifact will be added here. Next is you have to add a release stage. So click on new stage. I want to add empty job. Again, the same way we have to do that, okay. Now this is the stage owner, okay, and click on this stage job. Here I want to add the jobs to this task to this job. You can rename this, let's say release 1 to, okay, to production, and you can add jobs. Now the first job is, this is the stage, let's say stage first stage, first release stage, and you can add tasks. The first task is to add for our release. The first task is to, we have already added the artifact. Now create some variable to store the solution name, and to create a variable to store the solution name, so go to the variable and create a variable called as solution name, and put the solution name. What is the solution name? You can go to the source environment and copy the solution name. So go to solutions, and this is the solution that I want to deploy, right? So go to overview and copy the name and store it here. Now in the task, add the first task. The first task is I want to click use Power Platform tool installer, same as build artifact, right? In the first stage we have done that. So click on this tool installer, Power Platform tool installer. Then I want to export the solution. But before export, I want to pack the solution which is unpacked in the previous step. So use this time pack solution. So click on this Power Platform pack solution. Unpack we have done. Now I want to pack it. In the pack solution, I want to use the source folder for solution pack. I have already created a source folder for the solution. Now I can copy this. We have already defined this, or you can copy from the you can use from the browse option. Okay, here you will find this is the project build and unmanaged. So this folder I want to use to pack. But if you want to change the solution name here, you can change the solution name, right? Let's say I want to change the solution name with a variable that we have declared. So I can use it here, solution name, right? What is the output file? You can decide the output file, build staging directory, then solution name.zip. So this will create your solution with this directory, and you can define whether it is unmanaged or managed, right? Then you can go down, then import solution. Now the solution packed and created this unmanaged pack, right? Next is it will import. So add another action, import solution. Now import solution will ask you to use service principal and choose the target connection, because in the target environment you want to import it. Next, the environment URL is copied automatically, and here you need to use the solution input file. Where is your solution input file? This is your solution input file, which is already created. The same way you have picked the same path, right? Now it is done. Now you need to publish the customization. Add another step, publish customization. You scroll down, you will see that publish customization, and here you need to use the service connection using service principal option and the target connection, because target connection user will use to publish the customization, right? Now we have done everything successfully. Now let us create a release. Save this. Release created. Now you can create a release from this pipeline. So click on this create release option. Okay. Now you can click on create release here. You can provide some option here. This is the release stage I want to execute. This is the artifact connected and description. Let's say first release. Okay. Now click on create. Now it will try to create a release. Okay. And now you want to deploy this release, right, in production. So just click on the deploy and click on the deploy multiple or deploy option. This is the deploy step or release. Click on deploy. Once you click on, it will queued and work on in progress mode, which will try to release the artifact to the production server or the target server. It will take some time. So this is how you can automate, right? Just clicking 2-3 buttons, everything works fine. Just configure in internally all the scripts and Power Platform build tools to manage. Now the release in progress. So let us see how it works. So 5 or 6 tasks is completed. Now once all 6 tasks is completed, the production is ready, and we can recheck the solution that is imported or not in target production or target server. You can check also the status. It is running. Deployment is in progress. It is manually triggered. Okay. You can check the log files here also. Okay, what are the steps already completed, and now it is importing the solution. And once the import is success, it will publish the solution and all jobs are completed. Right. So importing takes time. You have to wait, because you normally do not need to wait, because these are jobs, agents, right? They will do their job in background and import the solution from source environment to target according to the time span assigned. Now import solution is done. It is trying to publish the solution in target environment. Now once this step is done, the release is completed for production. You can create one more release for UAT. You can create more releases for other servers also, or other environments, depending on your business requirement. Now it is trying to here in progress step. It is telling that 6 per 6 task is in progress, and once it is completed, the release will be success. And here also you can see the task that is executing currently, right? If it is currently executing some task, it will display here in this card. It is telling that for 2 minutes it is running the release. So you know how fast it is. Within 2 minutes, your release from a source environment to target environment is completed successfully with DevOps. For the initial configuration that you have done, all these things you need to configure beforehand so that you can automate this deployment, right? Okay, now it is succeeded. Deploy to production is succeeded. Okay, and if I'll go to the target environment and refresh this, now I can see the solution that is imported here. So this is the solution that is imported and published, which contains the components like the Canvas app and the new entity that is imported, right? So thanks everyone watching this video. This is how you can completely automate your DevOps using solution import export through GIT and Power Platform Management Center, Azure DevOps, and portals. See you guys. Bye.